My name is Michelle Lopez, and I will tell you about two inventions that I found interesting. So, the first invention is the electroencephalography. But first, we need to know what is the electroencephalography. The electroencephalography is a method for recording a brain function. It remains one of the few methods that is directly tied to neuronal activity. When neurons fire or send a signal to each other, they produce an electrical current. When enough of this electrical current are produced, one of these electrodes can detect them, and we can start to explore how the brain is working. So we can say, if the brain don't produce the electrical impulse, our friend Hans Berger, later we will see who is Hans Berger, don't show the impulse, we couldn't know how is the function of the brain. Now, what is the history of the electroencephalography? The electroencephalography was the first clue with the Dr. Luigi Galvani. He was born in 1737 and he died in 1798. He made the first contribution with a little frog and her legs. Years later, Hans Berger showed the electrical impulse when the frog made the movements with her legs. Many years later, he published his study in the British Medical Journal. Later, he continues finding other forms to see and show the electrical impulse in the brain, but he only started controversial experiments with the electrical waves between the neurons. With the help of the group led by Ross Addy and the UCLI Brain Research Institute, in 1961 and 1974 can be possible the creation of the electroencephalogram, and for years every neurology learned how to use it. But the only that they can see is two different waves, the alpha electroencephalography rib and beta electroencephalography rib. We can see in this photo the alpha electroencephalography rib and beta electroencephalography rib. So something so important and curiously is that has the first patient in the electroencephalogram was the son of Hans Berger, with only 16 years old. Now, the next invention is the stethoscope. What is the stethoscope? It's the principal and the best known medical instrument for students and doctors and is used to hear the inside sounds of the body, principal in the heart, lung, and chest, abdominal cavity, arteries and veins, and sometimes the throat to diagnostic the asthma. If the doctors wasn't sick for hear the sound in the human body, we couldn't differentiate among the sounds. Now, we will see the history of the stethoscope. So now we know the history about the stethoscope. The doctors before had the need for listening to the human body and do with the air with the chest on or the part of the body that he needed, but sometimes had problems with identifying the sound or any abnormality, and a lot of times the patient was sick. So days later, he was sick too, and he's had a big problem with the disease of these days. So a French doctor named René Théophile Hassin Telenek, that was born in 1781 and died in 1826 at the Necker Infants Memorial Hospital in Paris, invented the first stethoscope in 1816. During an examination of a patient, he has a four and a few diagnostic clues from application of the hand of the chest or the commonly used percussion method. And now, in recent years, it has been modified for the comfort of the patient and the doctor. We can see the photo and look at the first stethoscope and the actuality stethoscope. The principal difference is the comfort of the patient and the doctor, and the capacity for the sound in the medical student. So this is my two inventions that I think that is so interesting. Thanks for listening, Teacher Frank, and this is the credits of the beautiful presentation.